Welcome back, Poker Fam. It is your boy Leo Bearded Poker, and in this vlog we decided to head down south on I-35 to the great state capital of Austin, Texas. After some shopping and some touring, we decided to head to the great Texas Card House here in Austin, Texas, and decided to run it up, see how we do, get involved in a session. We get on the list and we wait for a little bit, and come to find out they are opening a brand new table. So we buy in for our original $300 at the 1-2 table. Let's see how we do. Let's go. First hand of vlog number 8 underway. We have King Queen offsuit in the under the gun +1 position. Under the gun limps in, and we decide to raise it to $15. Folds all the way back to the under the gun position, who ends up making the call. So we go heads up to the flop. Flop comes out King 8-6 with 2 spades. So after under the gun checks to me, I lead out for $15. This is mainly just to protect my hand from possible straight draws that could get there on the turn, or even flush draws. However, if there was a flush draw possibility for my opponent, I'm sure he would have made the call. But in fact, he folds. So we take down the first pot. Easy money. On to the next hand. Next hand of note, we have Ace-6 offsuit in the small blind position. Folds all the way to the button, who limps in for $2. We decide to make the call for an extra $1, why not? And big blind checks his option. So we're going to go 3 ways to the flop. As of right now, everyone's playing fairly passive. No one's really trying to make big time raises. So that's why we decided just to go ahead and limp in. Like I said, 3 ways to the flop, and the flop comes out Queen Jack 8 rainbow. I check, big blind checks, and the button decides to check as well. So we get a free turn card. The turn card comes the Ace of Clubs. So I decide to go ahead and lead out for $6 now that I have top pair, even though I have a crappy kicker. Big blind insta folds, and the button decides to raise me to $15. So for $9 more, no brainer for me. So we go heads up to the river, and the river comes the King of Hearts. So I check it over to my opponent, and he decides to bet out for $25. This is an interesting bet. Could my opponent possibly have some sort of 10? Did he catch that straight on the river? So after a while of tanking and deciding and shuffling my chips, I decide on a fold. That's right, I folded. And I was immediately shown the bad news when he shows me pocket 4s. So that's right, he bluffed me. He got me. Got me to fold the best hand. But hey, that's poker. Good job to him. On to the next hand. In this next hand, I have 10-7 of diamonds in the hijack position. Folds all the way to middle position, who leads out for $10. Low jack makes the call, and I decide to go ahead and make the call as well with the suited 2 gapper, and I'm in position of both opponents. Let's see a flop. Flop comes out Ace King Jack with 2 diamonds. So we hit a flush draw and a gut shot to the straight, but that's about it. Both opponents decide to check to me, and I decide to check as well. Take that free card. Turn comes the 7 of clubs. Now I have bottom pair. Once again, middle position and low jack check. The river comes the 10 of clubs, giving me 2 pair. Middle position checks, but this time the low jack decides to lead out for $25. So I tank for a while, and I decide to go ahead and make the call. And I get shown the bad news. He has 9-8 of diamonds. So he actually ended up hitting the straight on the river. Great river card for him. Gave me 2 pair and gave him the straight. So it's all good. Shake it off. That's the game. On to the next hand. In this next hand, we have Ace-3 of diamonds, and we are on the button. A particular opponent has joined our table, and he is a splashing player. He really likes to build pots. He's straddling a lot, blind raising a lot, so really good for the table, especially in this particular hand. Folds to the middle position player, who happens to be the aggressive opponent. He decides to lead out for $15. Hijack, cutoff, myself, and the big blind decide to go ahead and come along. So we're going to go 5 ways to the flop. We're in position, so we're hoping for a good flop here. The flop comes out 10-9-5 with 2 hearts and 1 diamond. So not really the best flop for us. We only have ace high with a backdoor flush draw. Fortunately, everyone checks around, including the splashy aggressive opponent. So we go ahead and take our free card to the turn. Turn comes out the 7 of diamonds, so this does improve us to the nut flush draw. When it checks around, we decide to go ahead and check again. With there being so many cards that will improve us to the river, we should be leading out here. Looking back at this is definitely a mistake. But as played, we checked. The river is a beautiful one. Comes out the jack of diamonds, giving us the nut flush. So now we're hoping someone leads out. Well, sure enough, checks to the middle position opponent, who happens to be the aggressive opponent that I told you about earlier, and he leads out for $35. Interesting bet. Fold to us, and now we have a decision to make. Obviously, we're going to raise, but for how much? What amount do we think our opponent will call? So after some thinking, we decide to go with an amount of $80. Back to the opponent, the original aggressor, and he is in the tank. He's deciding what he wants to do, has his cards in his hands. Looks like he wanted to fold, to be honest with you. And it seems like after some deliberation, he asks for a count. He decides on a call. We show down our hand, and we are good. The opponent ended up flashing me king, queen offsuit. So he ended up catching the straight on the river. So great river card for us, bad for him. On to the next hand. This hand is already underway, action-packed, so don't miss out. We get dealt the beautiful pocket aces. That's right, baby. Pocket rockets, American Airlines, always awesome, bullets, you get it. We got dealt aces. Anyways, we are in the hijack, and there's already a straddle, and that's from the splashy opponent I was telling you guys about earlier. So when it gets to us, we decide to raise it to $20. Cutoff decides to make the call, folds all the way back to the straddler, who raises to $80. So obviously we're going to raise, but now we want to decide what do we want to do, because we want to get money into this pot. We got the best hand in poker, right? So let's build a pot. So after some tanking, I decide on a shove. My logic behind this decision was simple. I have a premium hand, and I put my opponent, the splashy opponent, on a premium hand, most likely kings or queens. Cutoff folds, and back to my opponent, the straddler. I could tell he was visibly frustrated with my shove, but not frustrated enough to where he wanted to let it go. So obviously, I made the right decision. And so after a while, after I shove, the opponent decides to think about it. He stands up, asks for the count, and says, you know what, guys, guess I'm going home early today. And says, I call. He shows down pocket kings. So it's another aces versus king battle. And all we need to do is just fade a king, really. And the board comes out jack, 7, ace. So we hit our set on the flop. However, there are 2 diamonds on the board. He has a king of diamonds. We just need to fade a diamond on the turn. The turn comes the 2 of spades. And the river is the 2 of clubs. By that point, he had already walked away. And we scoop a massive, massive pot, guys. This was an amazing win for us here at Texas Card House in Austin, Texas. Super happy with the result. So we played for a little bit longer and decided it's time to head out and rejoin my family to continue our road trip. I buy in the game for $300 and cash out for $756. That's a profit of $456. Pretty good win for us here at Austin, Texas. Afterwards, I head out to this family-friendly place called Bangers. It's here in downtown Austin. Pretty good brewery. They have a variety of sausages, pulled pork, and also some unique appetizers. I decided to go with the Brussels sprouts and the pretzel. And guys, I can really vouch for these. They were delicious. This concludes vlog number 8. If you like what you see here, guys, take the time, give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments, comment down below. It's a huge motivator to see my subscriber count go up, so please take the time and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Until next time, take care, guys.